Hello, everybody. Welcome in to whoever's tuned in. Okay. Alright, let me once again turn this music down a little bit. Alright, I think it's good. Let's go. There we are. Okay. We are back in the project here. So last time we left off, last stream, if you're on Twitch, all my streams are on YouTube. You can go check out all my previous streams on this plugin. The very first one is where I started this project fresh from scratch, so the entire journey is pretty much available. Okay, so last time we left off, we had an issue with our JSON file formatting and parsing and all that. I got that fixed doing streams. It works great now. This new class called JSON utils. I moved our JSON static variable here, and it's only used in this class now. So we have a public method to convert our JSON object to our map, and we have another one to convert a string to the map instead of a JSON object. It just takes the string and turns it into a JSON object and then runs the method right here. And then we have one more static method. This one takes in a map of our JSON data and it converts it to a JSON string. And these methods utilize these two private methods down here. This one populates the map from, we pass in a map.populate, we have our JSON element, and we have a prefix. This prefix is used for recursion. So when it's first called, the prefix is normally an empty string. And then it checks if our JSON element is an array. If it is, then we just put it in the map. Otherwise, if it's not a JSON object, then we also just put it in the map as a string. But if it is anything else, we have to create a JSON object from our element, and we loop through the JSON object entry set, and for each key, we check if the prefix is empty, then the prefix is the key. Otherwise, it's prefix dot the key, and then we call the same method, except we pass in the value of the entry and the map and the key that we just created here. And it loops through until it's done, and it utilizes recursion. And we have our last private static method here. This one just to populate a JSON map, so instead of just populating the map. So okay, we use this in our toJSON_string method to populate this map here. This is the map we're trying to populate with this other private method. So we loop through the map that we pass in, and we loop through this map that we passed in, and then we get all the keys, and we split them by a period, and then we run populate JSON map with the new map that we just created, all the keys from this that's split, the index, which is 0 at first, and then the value of the current key we're on, and that will say if the index is the last index of our keys, then we put the value in the map at that key, and then we return and do nothing. Otherwise, hello Foxer, welcome in. Glad to have you here. Just going over what we did last time in my last stream. So yeah, we have our we put in the JSON map the current keys index that we're on. We put a new hash map in there if it's not already in there, and then we get the map that we just put in, and then we run that map through this method again as a recursion. It's a little hard to explain right now what it is. I mean, right now is just if you've ever heard of a JSON file like .json, this is just some utility code to parse a JSON file into a map of data and back, so that way I can use it in a particular way for my plugin. But yes, this is related to Minecraft. The overall project is related to Minecraft. Some of this stuff is not Minecraft specific, but it's used for the project. The main project, though, yeah, the main project is a prison core, which means if you've ever played a prison server on Minecraft, it's for that. Right now, I can probably show you the last version that I tested on a server here. Just to show you what it looks like from the front end of the project, not the back end. Yeah, that's fine. So we're in game. Let me trash all this stuff here. There we go. And now we will say, so all right, this right here is an empty mine that you would normally see in a prison server. To fill it, I have methods to fill it up with fake blocks. We have this wand here where you can select that corner down there and that corner right there, which I've already saved in a file, so I don't need to select it again. And then I can do a temporary command that I created to fill the region with fake blocks. So that basically means that the server doesn't recognize that there are blocks there, but my client thinks that there are. Basically manipulating the data sent between the client and the server and intercepting and preventing it and whatnot to make it work. So I can say stone, and there we go. And then we take our Omni tool here and we can just mine away at the blocks here. And this is the gist of prison. You mine blocks, you sell them for money, and then you can rank up to a new rank. Sometimes your mine would change. So it would change into, like, I don't know, maybe cobblestone to sell for more money or something like that whenever you rank up. But this is all I have so far. Just the basics of a mine here. So yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to get to next. We have the system to fill a mine with all these fake blocks, but we don't have the actual mine system to regenerate the mine and see it as an actual mine, not just a building with a empty mine in it. You know what I mean? I sound a little confusing, but it's fine. So yeah, this is what I currently have. It's not a lot, because there's still a lot more to go in the prison core, like selling the blocks, making custom enchantments to put on the pickaxe to do different things, and all that stuff. We also have, this is an Omni tool as well. So that means it can switch. So if I'm mining stone, then it's a pickaxe. But if I click on wood, then it switches to an axe. And same thing with dirt, it'll switch to a shovel here. So I can just seamlessly, mine away and all that stuff. I might need to adjust my mining stuff, because off stream I changed how it works a little bit. Yeah, okay, in here. I changed it up a bit so that it uses a task to handle all of the calculations. But I'm not sure if it's completely, if it's better than before or not. So we'll have to revisit this. I'll probably do that another time. Sorry, stumbling on my words. But today I hope to work on our menus, because right now we just have this one example menu and it works. Like, I can't take any items out of it, but we need a lot more than just that to make our plugin work. So, okay. And our common modules, where we have all of our menu code at. And that I need to look over again because it's been a while since I worked on it. Here's our menu manager, which stores all of our registered menus and registers them from a file. There's some utility methods to check if they exist or to get one, and to get their IDs. Okay, yeah. So we have our menu here, which is actually like where everything is constructed into the menu. Okay, so I believe our menu is pretty much done, except for being able to click on items and have them actually do things. So I believe that's what we need to do next. Yeah. This is all well and good, but we just need click requirements and click actions. And then we also need to do pagination for other specific GUIs. So how do we want to handle that is the next question here. We store our items in a list, and that item has the slots of which they will go. Okay. Alright, as I was saying, let's see. How do we want to handle detecting which item we're clicking on to be able to run the specific actions for that item? That's the question. So done it a few different ways, I believe. Storing the actions on the item's persistent data container, or storing the ID of the item, for example. I believe we can do that. That might be good. So that means many items are going to need an ID. Say string ID. And that means in this constructor we need to pass in the ID here, just like that. Okay, I believe it's saying this because there's technically other constructors from item builder. We are overriding this one, but not this one. So let's go ahead and override this one then. Oh wait, we already are. That's why it's right here. That means our key needs to be the ID, or maybe we should just pass in the ID. Or we don't have to try and figure that out on our own. You can say public string get ID. So we can return our ID right there. And the ID is going to be really simple. All it is going to be is like this, filler or example dash item. That's all it's going to be. And we're going to store our click actions in here. The thing is, I want to be able to have these actions in an API, right? So we're gonna need to make another module here for our API. I think that's it. We want Java 21. Yep. Okay. Just gonna build that. Okay, I think my little brother's friends are over, so I apologize if they're loud and you can hear them. I mean, I can hear them right outside my room, like outside the house. So I don't know what they're doing. Okay, let's continue. Whenever it finishes loading. Common has Commons build.gradle has just our common plugin here. So I believe we could just use that. It also has our NMS common and our abstraction module, but we don't need that for our API. So we should be good with just that. And remember, our Astra.common plugin is stored and created in our build src folder down here, in which it has paperweight, placeholder API, head database, all that stuff. But we may not actually need that. So what I might want to do instead is just ignore this. Right, so we don't need placeholder API and head database in our API. So and that, there we go. So for dependencies, we want these. It's gonna be the same version as our main project, of course. And Maven Central repository. And we need our paperweight plugin as well. There we go. Just gonna reload that. and close everything else out here. All right. Now our API here. I believe that was our package, right? Just Astra, not AstraPrison. Yeah. Cool. So Astra will have like this, an interface, and we'll have this plugin, login. Right. So the problem with this is it doesn't like private stuff. Or static variables and all that. So we'll have to just say Astra API. How do we want to do this? Maybe do we want? Okay, let's just go ahead and ignore this for a second and make our action manager menu item action manager. I don't know. We'll just call it action manager for now. And the Astra API needs to get our plugin's instance of the action manager. Okay. Okay. And then we also want a requirements, right? Requirement manager. Same thing in here, we want a method to get that. There we go. Okay, and then our main plugin, we want to go down to not Gradle properties, we want settings at Gradle, and we want to move our API probably up above common. API, and then, oh wait, this should be just down there. Okay, include API, yep. That's good. And then, of course, our main build.gradle. We want to implementation project API. So again, I'm sorry if you guys can hear all the background noise. I do have noise cancellation on quite a bit. And my mic pretty close to myself, so hopefully you don't hear it. So there we go. Now we can go to our main class. And we can also implement Astra API, in which case we want our action manager here. We'll return that whenever. So we're not actually going to make our action manager and requirement manager implementation here. We're going to make it in our common module, so that all of our other modules in our project can access them. So we'll go here, we'll say API, we'll say actions, impl, action manager, implementation. This will implement action manager, although we need to add it here. So we can actually access that module from our common module. There we go. Make this final so nobody can extend this. And the same thing. Requirements. Requirement manager. It's final once again. And there we go. So now we can go down to our AstraPrison main class and we can make private action manager private requirement manager. And down here in our methods that we're overriding, we can return action manager. Same thing down here, requirement manager. And these need to action manager, new action manager implementation, requirement manager implementation. Just like that. Now that's all set up, ready to go for whenever we're done with these classes. The only thing is an easy way to get our instance of the API. So maybe public static Astra API. Is there really no way to put static in here? I feel like I've definitely done it before. Oh wait. Get API. This is always public, so it doesn't need the public modifier there. Okay, here we go. That's what we needed. So we could say Java plugin equals bucket get plugin manager get plugin Astra. Actually, it should just be a plugin. Okay, if plugin instance of Astra API, then return null. Others return. Actually, we can just say this. Return API. Or return null. And we can mark this nullable so that people know that it could be null whenever they call this method in their own project. And let's make some Java documentation for it. Return get AstraPrison instance of the API. Sure, API. There we go. Null if Astra not on this server. AstraPrison's instance of the API. Or null if AstraPrison is not on the server. Yep. Okay. Paper plugin.yml. Yep. The name is just Astra. So there we go. There we go. This method will get the API from our plugin. From our main class. This right here gets our main class. And then this says if it's an instance of the Astra API, which our main class should be because it implements Astra API. And it returns our main class as this interface so that they will only have access to these two methods here whenever they call API. For example, we can say here, we can go Astra, let's say action manager, say Astra API equals Astra API.get API. Now API, let's see, we only have action manager and requirement manager. We don't have any methods from Java plugin or our main class. Okay, so we have our interface and we have a way to get our action manager and requirement manager from our main class, our own instance of it, at least, is what I mean. We'll say nullable. Nullable. AstraPrison instance of the or null if the API is not. If AstraPrison is not loaded yet. And we'll copy this Java doc down here. And then we'll say requirement manager. Requirement manager. There we go. Now it looks like this when we hover over it. Yep, cool. Okay, so we can close this for now. And now we want our actions, right? Abstract item action. So we an abstract class. Say private final not null string ID. Public abstract item action. Final not null string ID. Sorry guys, I'm getting really distracted by all the noise outside my room. Okay. Public final not null string get ID turn ID. If you don't know why I put final here, it's because this class, as it's abstract and not final itself, means that this is going to be extended, and final here means people cannot override this method. So yeah, and we don't want them to do that. Public abstract void run player and we want item action argument. Item action args. Yep. So it'll be final class, public item action args. We'll have two member variables here. Oh my gosh. Get not get command line. I just want yeah, just call it command line. Final not null string split command line. I'm sorry guys. I'm so sorry if you guys can hear the background noise. I literally just started streaming and like 10 minutes after his friends came over, because of course. String command line. So this dot equals command line, this dot split equals command line split with a space. Okay, so the purpose of this class here is whenever we are in a file, a menu file here, we say we want the example item. So we want left click actions. We'll say message. This will be an action. This will determine what you're about to do when you left click it. The ID of the action will be message, and we'll say hello. So whenever the player left clicks on an item in the menu with this action, it'll send them a message hello. So that means that hello is the command line. So we'll pass in just the string hello exclamation mark, and that will be the command line. The purpose of split command line is a little bit different. So say we have like give money. So we'll give the player money. We'll say 10, 15. So that means, for an example, let's say the first number is the minimum amount of money we want to give, and then the second number is the maximum amount of money we want to give. So we'll give them a random amount of money between 10 and 15. This split command line simply makes it easier. We can say split command line 0 to get the minimum amount, and then split command line 1 to get the maximum amount, and we can parse it like that. Instead of having to do that ourselves, instead of having to call this and then, you know, getting it all from that. So get command line, and then public not null string get split command line. So there we go. This class is done. That's all we needed it for. Now we can go back to our abstract item action. We can say final not null item action args, right? And there we go. Okay, so let's see. What is it we want to do now? Perhaps public final void register. We want to register this action. We can have a method here. Say void register not null item abstract item action and action. So now in our abstract item action, our final register method, we can say Astra API dot get API. If API is null, then we will simply return, not do anything with that. Don't know what happened there. But if it isn't, then we'll say get action manager. Action manager. If manager not equal null. Manager register this. There we go. So now whenever they call register on their action, it'll automatically register to our instance of the action manager. Okay. So yeah, that's good. My goodness gracious. Oh. I'm finding it so hard to think with all the loud commotion going on outside my room. I'm so sorry, guys. But okay. Let's keep going. So we have a register method. Now we want a method to... Okay, this is just getting out of hand. String ID. Okay, so we'll have check... We'll have a method to check if an action is registered. And we'll say abstract item action get action not null string ID. We'll mark this as nullable because it can return null if the action that they're requesting by ID doesn't exist or isn't registered. Okay, so okay, it is bizarre that I have headphones on. I'm in my room with my door closed, and I have music playing, and I can still hear them louder than I can think. Like, this is... Oh my goodness. So sorry, guys. I really hope you can't hear them, because it's just... Oh, it's obnoxious. Little children are the worst. Okay, we'll come back to requirements in a little bit. I want to get actions done first, just because that's more simple. Okay. that's the first part of our API done, and then we'll have, let's go ahead and implement our methods here that we just created: register, exists, and get action. You could say private final map string abstract item action actions. Now we say actions with new hash map. So to register, we say actions.put if absent action.get ID action. And then to check if it exists, we say actions.contains key ID. Then we'll say get our default ID null. Simple as that. Just utilizing a basic hash map to store our actions in, and to check if they exist, to get it, or to put it in. This is pretty much about it for all we need as well. So then, yeah, this is about it. We actually need now, you know what I might do? I might move this out of the implementation package. Just like that. And then I'll say move. Yep. Cool. Implementation is where we'll have all of our actions. So I'll say message item action. And we'll extend abstract item action. We'll implement our run method, and we'll create our matching constructor. Except we'll remove our parameter here because we don't need that, and then we'll pass in the ID message for it. Alright. And we'll make this final so that it can't be extended. And now we'll say whenever this method gets called, we will say player send message arguments get command line. Simple as that. Although what I would rather do is say string message arguments get command line. Okay, and then we'll say mini color dot chat dot deserialize message. So now we're converting it into a component to translate all of our colored codes and stuff and formatting and whatnot from mini message before we send it to them. And then we're gonna say we're gonna pass it in through our placeholder API utility method to parse all of the placeholder API placeholders in the string. So we can simply say this here, set a message to say get command line, just like that. And this can be final, or we can take it a step further and just put this into here, like that. So mini message, API, just like that. All that it doesn't look as good, so we'll just say this here. There we go. Very simple. That's all we need for the message action. And now let's make a console command item action. Sends abstract item action. Implement this, create that, remove this, pass in console. So now we're going to say string command equals arguments get command line. Once again, we're going to pass it first through placeholder API parsing for the player that is running the action. And then we'll say bucket get console, no, bucket dispatch command get console sender, and then the command line. Once again, we can just simplify this with that. Format it like that. There we go. So basically what we're doing is we're going to dispatch a command And we're going to make it so that the console is the one sending the command. So basically it's making console run the command. And then the command that we're going to have it run is whatever the command line is from our argument, parsed with all the placeholder APIs in it parsed for the player. That's as simple as it is for the console command action. We're going to make another one, except this one's going to be player command action. And the ID for this is going to be player. And the only difference is instead of get console sender, we're going to say player as the sender of the command. And that's it. This will check if the player has the permissions before it tries to dispatch it as well. Or it'll run it, and if the player doesn't have permission for it, then it'll tell them they don't have permission for it. It's basically as if they typed the command in chat themselves. So here we're going to have all of our default actions. Let's say register new player command item action, register. What we could do, private static set of our default actions here. Default actions, and then static will say default actions equals set.of. We'll say new console command action, player command item action, and new message action. There we go. And then in our constructor for our action manager, we'll say default actions for each register. There we go. Actually, I'd rather say register from our, just like that. It should work like that. No, it's because it's not static. This colon register. There we go. That way it'll just call this method and not the one from the actual action, which has to get our API and make these checks. So we're avoiding all those checks because we already know that those checks don't matter since we're registering them from our own instance of the class anyways. So yeah. And maybe make this final and not null as well. Alright. Okay, alright. Still trying to ignore the commotion going on outside my room. Okay. Okay, so the next thing I want to do for our menu item, we want to be able to store all of our actions and whatnot, right? But we also want different things. Not here, but I guess I'll just put it here. Menu click type. And with enum, left click, right click, etc. So menu click type And we'll have another one called any, just like that. Private, click type. Final, not null. Okay, so actually we'll say nullable right there. So click type equals null, and then well, I should have another one up here. Mini click type. Click type. This click type equals click type, and then this will just pass in null to the other constructor, like that. It's gonna actually be nullable as well. There we go. So left click is gonna be click type dot left. Right click type dot right, obviously. So we need to check all the other different click types that there are, right? Click type double, okay. Ignoring creative, control drop, ignoring middle. So we have double click, click type dot double click, swap offhand. Yep, that's another one. Swap offhand dot drop and control drop as well. Click type dot drop, control drop, click type dot control drop. All right, and then we have type dot number key, shift left and shift right. So number key, click type dot number key. I'm gonna go up here, shift left, and then shift right, right? There we go. We'll say private, final, not null, string key. And then this one will also have not null string key, because they all need to have a key. Set key. This, it will be any. This will be number key. This will be control drop. This will be drop. Offhand. Double click. Shift right. Shift right. Shift left, and then left. Alright, so this will be the key for the config to detect which click type we are gonna look for. Yeah. Not null string get key, turn key, public, we'll say mini click type from click type, right? We'll switch, we'll say default any. So switching, or say return switch from the click type. The default will be any click type that we return. So this one right here. And we'll say case left click. Click type dot left click. Left, right? Let's actually go ahead and refactor this to just be left as well. All right, there we go. Left. Okay, how did that K even get there? left, shift left, right, shift right, double click, swap offhand, drop, control drop, number key. Okay, case click type dot right, right, case shift left, case click type shift right, right. Just a couple more to go. We got case double click, case swap, type swap, offhand, case drop, right, control drop, number key, just like that. Are there any other click types that we don't currently cover? Again, we're ignoring creative. We're ignoring middle click because that no longer works in recent versions of Minecraft. We have Windows border left and right. Maybe we can do that. Window border left. Border left. Window, we'll say window left. Window border left, and then window border right. Window right. Click type dot window border right. And we'll see if that works in game. If it doesn't, it's simple. All we have to do is remove them from here. Just click type window border right. Border right. There we go. Simple. And we'll say public. Not null. Click type. Get click type. If click type. So return click type is null. Type dot left. Or just the click type. All right. There we go. We're done with this. This will be used for our click types and our requirements for items, because we'll have different click requirements and different click type actions. Okay. So now we'll say item click actions, another class here. Make this one final. This one will be simple. It'll store the list of actions click actions okay and then yeah, this will just store a list of our actions here. Public list string get click actions, return new array list click actions. And this can be not null, just like that. And then we'll say public item click actions list string list click actions new click actions. Okay. And the reason I'm not going to pass this into this constructor is because I don't want to have to create a new array list just for another new array list. Okay. All right, what else? We can say public item click actions not null config string ID for the item, and then menu click type. All right? We have this. This isn't too hard to do. We'll say click actions equals new or list utils from config, and then we'll say ID plus click type dot get key. So first off, we'll say if ID ends with dot, if it does not end with it, then we'll say ID plus equals dot. Right, there we go. New array list as a default. So we get from config, we say config, we pass in the ID, which is the item ID, and then plus dot, and then we'll say actually actions dot plus click type, just like that. That way the path should be the, again, contents dot the item. That's what we're passing into this method or our constructor. And then we use that to then say dot actions. So again, we'll say actions like that. So contents dot item ID dot actions dot left, for example, and that'll be a list of string actions there, just like that, and that'll load it up for us. Yeah. So now go back. So our menu item. In here, we're gonna have private not null map of menu click type and item click actions. Item click actions. Okay. We'll say this dot item click actions equals new map, or actually we can say nullable on this, right? But we don't have to initialize it anywhere. And since we have a method here to pass in to create an item from config, we'll simply do that here. So for new click type menu click type dot values. So we're going to loop through all of our different click types here. And then item click actions new hash map. So we're going to initialize that first. I'm going to say item click actions put click type new item click actions config ID and then click type. It's like that. However, we don't want to have to store all this stuff if there are no click actions for that click type, right? So to do all that, I'm gonna say let's just say throws null pointer exception. It's like that, and then we're gonna say if click actions is empty, or new null pointer exception. There are no click actions for this click type. For the click type dot name click type. All right, there we go. So now go back here. We'll say vinyl item click actions. First we'll say it's null. We'll say try actions equals, and we'll say catch null pointer exception. And we'll continue our for loop instead of putting it in there. And this doesn't need to be null, actually, it could be final. It's like that. So we have our actions, and we have a try method to set it equal to the item actions. And if the list is empty that it gets from the config, then it'll throw a null pointer exception, in which case we can just continue our loop. So it'll go to the next click type and then check again, and then it'll put in the item click actions right there, just like that. Okay. And for our item click actions, we want to also say public void add click action not null string input. This dot add all input. So list dot of input. It's like that. And we'll actually say item click actions not null, and then return this. That way we can chain these methods together. So we can chain this method specifically together. What that means is I can go like say actions dot add click action 1, and then say add click action 2, and then say add click action 3. It's like that. So I can just chain them together like this, or since I have since input is a string dot 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 instead of just a string, I could also say this instead. Action 2, action 3, and then just remove those, right? I could also say that. Those would do the same thing with how the method is set up. Let's actually yeah. So we'll say public null map menu click type item click actions get item click actions. If item click actions is null, return new hash map. Otherwise, return new hash map item click actions. That way we can't modify our current map. Because if we were just to return this, then we'd be able to modify it after calling this method. But since we're returning a new hash map, we're essentially just returning a copy of this. That they can't modify it. Yeah. And then let's say public not null menu item add click actions menu click type, and then list string actions. So we'll say click item click actions put if absent click type new item click actions, and then we'll say item click actions equals item click actions dot get click type, and we'll say add click action actions, which we also need to add a method for a list. Item click actions add click actions final not null list string input click actions add all input. Yep. Then we will simply say return add click actions list dot of input like that. So now we're just calling this method for that one instead. There we go. Click actions. There we go. I'm going to say this, and of course our, if it's null, then item click actions equals new hash map. There we go. And we again say return this. This is saying if the map does not contain our click type already, then we'll just put it in there, and then but if it does, then this won't do anything. So then we just get our item click actions from our click type, and then just add the actions into that. And we don't have to add this back into the map because it's a reference to this. Okay. And then we will say, forgot to make this final and not null. Okay. Public not null menu item. And then we'll say return add click actions click type list out of actions, just like that. Okay. Great. That should be everything we need. Yep. And now we go back to Astra menu. We have our items here. We're going to change this from a list to a map, and it will be string menu item instead. The string is the item ID, as we mentioned before, because now menu items have an ID. In which case, yep, just like that. New hash map. We'll say put key menu item key. All right, there we go. So for each key menu item, just like that. There you go, and we're good to go. We want to say, add another method here, public void run actions final not null menu click type, and we'll say final not null player. So we're going to run the click actions for a specific player here. We'll say we also need the item ID. String item ID, just like that. And then we'll expand this to make it not as long. Instead, we'll make it more vertical instead of horizontal, basically. So now we'll say items dot get or default item ID null. Say menu item. If item is null, then we'll simply return and do nothing. No problem there. If it's not null, then we'll say item dot get item click actions. What we'll actually do is say we have this to get all of them, but then we want to say public not null item click actions get item click actions menu click type return if item click actions is null, then return null, and this could be nullable. It's fine. Return item click actions get or default click type null, and there we go. We go back here and we can just get the specific click type actions that we want. to run. Item this click type. Yep. Item click actions. Again, if actions is null, then we want to do nothing. Okay, actions, get click actions, right? So here's a string. Okay, so I think what I forgot to do was the fact that I wanted to store each string by its action ID. That way I don't have to do that and determine which ID it is for every string every time I want to run it, because that'll be a lot less efficient than having the ID already stored. You know, much more efficient than having to determine which action it is every time you want to run an action. So right now these are just the command lines, including the action, but we want to split that up. And to do that, we have item click actions. I want to make another class here. Item click action command lines. And this will be a list string command lines. Public item click action command lines. New array list. And we'll say no, we'll not have that yet. Public void add command line list string command lines, list command lines, add all command lines. And we'll say item click action command lines. Okay, there we go. Turn this. I will just copy this. Return. Like that. There we go. And then we will say not null string. No, we'll just have get command lines. List string get command lines, return new array list command lines. I was gonna turn the music down, but I don't know about that. Okay, so now item click actions will have a map of string and item click action command lines. So that. So this instead is going to be a string full action lines. Right? Something there. So we'll say full action lines for each string. This will be the full command line, including the action part of it at the beginning of it. And we'll worry about all this stuff in a second. So click actions. New hash map. Just like that. There we go. Okay. So we need a way to determine which action is which based on a string input, which normally I'd use regex for. Let's do it in our action manager so that we can do it from the API as well. Abstract item action get action from command line or from string full command line. There we go. And now down here, right here, we will do this right there. And then up here, I want private static final not null pattern. Okay, pattern equals pattern dot compile. And how do I normally do this? There's another question I have, because I don't quite remember how I did this. It's been a while. Did I once do it in my API here? I wonder. Actions. I did have from command line here. Let's check the history. Not really. It's like interesting. There's no other commits besides this? There has to be, right? Yeah. Okay, you know what? I don't know. We'll just go to regex101.com here. And we'll insert, we'll test, right? So normally our string will look like this: message hello. So we want to get this part right here from the beginning of the string. I believe it needs to start with, gosh, okay, how does regex work again? Like that. We say dot star, maybe question mark dot star. That pattern error. Big group structure. No, it's not. Things are here. Okay. Okay. This is, oh gosh, I haven't worked with regex in a long time. Okay, right, so to match the begin/end of each line. Right, okay, well, we need a group, right? And we need to put this as a string. Problem is, it's making this a string too, apparently. Instead of just this, maybe it's just, okay, there we go, that's why. And then like that, and then dot star question mark. That also means it'll look like that, right? But what if we didn't make it that? Okay, well, that doesn't work. Put this in a group there. So the problem is, this is now all one group. It's getting everything between it. So what we want, no? Does that work? Group 1, group 2. There's no group 2 for this one, and it doesn't go past this. What if I do this? Then it does do that. Weird. Okay, well, this seems to work. Just put it in here and it should automatically, yep, convert. So this is a string, so we'll do this because it's redundant, so whatever. So this is our pattern that we're going to use. I'm actually going to move it up above that. Okay. Get action from string. Goes final. Okay. So we want to say matcher equals pattern dot matcher full command line. Matcher dot find. Begin in the matchers region. Okay, wait. Group 2, because group 2 is inside these parentheses. Returns the input sequence captured by the given group, right? Returns possibly empty sequence captured by the group during, or null if the group failed to match part of the input. So it can be null. So final string group 2. I'll just say group. And last but not least, we want a default static default action. Private final not null string default action ID. And we'll say default action ID equals console. It's like that. Yeah, we're gonna have it as a static. Private string default action ID default console. It'll default try to execute as a console command basically. Okay, so if group null turn actions dot get default action ID should be in there since console's in there and automatically registers these just after this is created, so no other methods will get called. No other register methods can get called before these do. So and you know what, we'll say console. If it doesn't exist, then we'll say register new we'll just register real quick and then return it. Okay. Okay. So otherwise the group will say if group is null or exists group, then we'll return that. Otherwise we'll return actions get group. There we go. Basically it'll check the full command line for the pattern that we set up here, which looks like this, and then it'll get the result, the group 2, which again is the part inside the parentheses. And then it says if it's null or it doesn't exist from in the actions map, then it'll check if the default action does not exist, and if it doesn't, then it'll register it and then it'll return the default action. And then but if it does, if group was found and it does exist, then it will return that from the action map. So there we go. We're good there. So we'll say final action manager. We want Astra API. Problem is, okay. Problem is we want Astra API. API, right? And we will say no, this is just getting messy. Okay. We'll say put it here. If API is null, no new null pointer exception. The API is null. Okay. And then we'll say final action manager. Get action manager if null. New null pointer exception. The action manager is null. Okay, and now we'll say action manager dot get from string. If action is null, turn. Did I mark it not null? No, I didn't mark it nullable. That means, yeah, but it doesn't return null. So like anywhere. So we can go ahead and say not null. Say return an action from its ID in the full command line string, and then abstract the from its ID or the default action. There we go. It's never null, so we'll say check if an action exists by its ID. Abstract item action. Okay. String turn boolean true if it's registered, false if not. And we'll wrap this in code so it stands out. Sure. Okay. It's like that. There we go. Actions ID. The full command line string. I believe we can do snippet or something. And then like code. I believe that's how it works. And then we'll say string, and we'll just say message hello there. No, alright. Example. That does not do the whole snippet or whatever, but whatever. We'll just have it like this. Okay, so there we go. So action cannot be null. That means we just need to say click actions put if absent give ID command lines, and we'll say click actions get. Add command lines string. There you go. That should handle everything. So we get the action from the current string. We get the action ID from the action, and then we check. We say click actions. We put in a new click action command lines into the map for that action ID if it isn't already in there, and then we get it from the map with the ID, and then we add the command lines to it. Okay. This needs to be a map string item click action command lines. That new hash map. And then we'll say like that new hash map. There we go. Add click actions. No string ID. Alright, and then we'll say we'll get all this stuff. If it's null, then we'll return and not add it. We'll return this. Again, we will turn this action manager.exists ID. Return this. New command lines get ID add input. Just like that. There we go. Same thing here. We'll just say ID. Just like that. And we can say action ID. Something down here. Okay, this oh yeah, return values never used. That's fine. Okay, this should be good to go. That's fine. Action manager is fine. Menu item. Right. So now we have actions. So okay. Okay, right. So add click actions, and then we have a list of raw click actions. So full strings. So we now need to say we're gonna want to say this and then remove the ID. So now we also want to do the same thing except for a list of strings. And say return okay. So input for each string, right? We want to go ahead and copy basically this stuff here. Like that, and we also want to have this stuff here. So return this, return this, and then return this, and then we're done. I can also go ahead and say right, this just adds it to click actions. Yep, that means we can just go ahead and say add click actions full action lines, right? And we can just go ahead and remove this stuff because we already do that in here. Okay. The reason we have to do it in here is because we have to first check if the action ID actually exists. So most of the time, the API and the action manager won't be null, so let's skip over that. So yeah. All right, we're good to go. For that menu item, we have all this stuff going for us. Our click actions. Okay. Now Astra menu, right? We have run click actions for the click type and the item ID. So get click actions returns a map. So the only problem is that it won't run them in the order that you put them in the list, because they're all jumbled together into their own separate lists. So it'll run them. It'll run one action at a time, no matter how many different lines of actions you have. So, yeah, but that's fine. Yeah. For each, we have the ID and the click actions. Okay. Say action ID. Right, so we need the API. If API is null, then we'll return manager. If it's null, return. Okay, and then we'll say action manager get action from the action ID. If the action is null, then we'll return, and that'll just skip over every other click action for that action ID. Then we'll say click actions dot get command lines for each. This is the command line. So action dot run player command line, or sorry, new item action args command line. Just like that, and we'll get rid of that there. There we go. So that should be done for run click actions. Now we just have to hook it up on our menu listener here. Right. We have everything here. This prevents us from canceling the click event if we're not clicking within our inventory. And if we're doing that, then we don't need to run any click actions because we are not on the, we're not clicking on one of our items. Last but not least, actually, we need to set the PDC for the item, because then we have to get the PDC of the item. We'll add PDC name string PDC, and we'll make a namespace key. We'll put it in. Problem with this is it needs our plugin instance. Right, so we can do that. Say menu item, Astra menu item, right? But I'm not sure if this won't return. This will return null because it's not loaded yet. So we have to change that up a bit. Let's just copy this, cut it rather. And what if we just put it in? Sorry, what if we just put it in our like main class or something? Common Astra plugin. Oh no, Astra, right? Let's say private static namespace key namespace Astra menu item key. Astra new namespace key plugin Astra menu item. Just like that. There we go. And we'll make a public static namespace key get and that. There we go. Now we can go down here. Astra get to that key, and we'll say the value is the ID of the item. All right. Yeah, key value. And that will add it to the item whenever we build it, because this is one of our own methods from our item builder class that we're extending. And it'll add whatever PDC we just added to the list of PDC that we have, which is up here. And when the item gets built, it'll say if that list is not null, it'll get the container for the item, and PDC for each, it'll apply it to the container. If you don't remember, this list item PDC question mark, this is our own class that we made. It's an abstract class with a generic. All it does is have the namespace key stored and the value stored, and then you pass in whatever namespace key and whatever value is. The value is the same type as the generic, and then we have an abstract void method. So we also have we have all these different types of PDC for that, which we just use the string one, which extends item PDC string, and that basically stores a string value and applies a string persistent data type to it. So that's just a catch up a refresher of what that is. There we go. So we have our menu item, we have the namesys key on it. And then we just have to go to our menu listener now. And say item stack, clicked item, get current item. Which I believe that means currently in the clicked slot. Yep. So final, see, item meta. So this looks like it could be null if clicked item. Also, we want to set canceled true up here. All right, and then if meta is null, then return as well. Okay, now we want to say final persistent data container meta get persistent data if container has Astra get that persistent data type string. If it doesn't have it, then return. But if it does, we say item ID equals container get Astra get name key persistent data type dot string. Okay, and now we have Astra menu up here. We can say we can define a variable for this, and then we can say Astra menu run click actions for the player, the item ID, and we need the click type. All right, so to get the click type, we'll say event get click. So click type. So and then we need menu click type. Menu click type. From click type. Click type. We pass that in. Okay, so item ID can be null. So if that's the case, and just return, which also means we don't have to check for this because, you know. Okay, menu click type, run, but that's it. That's everything. We can test this out now, I believe. You should not have problems with that. Why do you have problems with that? Why do you have a problem with that one class in my common module? That's weird. Doesn't have a problem with Astra API. Doesn't have a problem with Astra plugin, which is from my common module. Just a problem with this. Oh, I think it's because it's the old import for it. That's why. All right, we're good. I don't know why the import didn't update after I moved it, but that's fine. Okay, build successful. Great. We see this one has not updated since December 2nd. That's because it hasn't had any changes made to it as opposed to the one that we have here, because we haven't made any. No, that's not correct. I don't know. It hasn't been updated since then when it's been built, so that's fine because we don't even use this jar. This jar doesn't have any of our implementations in it. So go here, we do that. Oh, I need to stop the server first. Okay, now we can remove this. There we go. First, I want to go to our menu, our example menu. I want to say actions left message hello player name. See if that works. Perhaps green and then white and then green again. There we go. We'll see if that works. And then now we'll start the server. I don't think I have my reload set up to reload menus. Actually we should. On reload, mini manager dot, okay, mini manager dot reload. Okay. Running, no errors. It's a good sign always. Okay. Astra menu example. Okay. Click on it. Okay, nothing happened. Does it have our... There's 11 components. Okay, we need to do some debugging here. Astra log clicked items null, and it'll return items. Meta is null. Item ID is null. And then running click actions for. We'll just say that, and then we'll just go down here. Say click type, and then menu click type, which should just be left by default. Or actually, no, it does any by default, and that could be why. Well, it should be left that I just did, and then it turns left. It defaults to any, so I don't know. We'll see. Go ahead and run that, and then we'll see where our debugging takes us, how far it runs or gets to. Perhaps it doesn't load our actions from the correct path. Contents example. Oh, you know what? It might not. That might be a problem, I think. Perhaps. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We'll find out after I click on this item. Left, running click action. So it does work. It does indeed run the click actions, as we can see there. What if I click on, say, here? Oh, left, running click actions. Okay, because this does have an item ID. Okay, well then so we know that we get to this method here. Now we just have to debug inside that method. So now we'll go in here and we'll say running click actions. And click type. And click actions, okay. For item ID item ID. There we go. We'll say Astra log item ID is null. Item click actions is null. Okay, and then we'll say, oh, you know what it is? I think this API is null. No, actually. No, it shouldn't be. Because we're getting it from the bucket plugin manager, not from our main class. We don't have any method to call from our main class to initialize that. So, it shouldn't be null, but we'll obviously debug anyways. API is null. Action manager is null. Okay, we'll say looping through click actions. Like that. And then should we say that, and then provider. Sure, log action ID. Oh. So action ID. Sure, log action is null. Looping through command lines. Okay, there we go. All right. So there we go. We got more debugging done. Copy that. After this is done, we have to do a pagination setup for our menus, for specific menus that we need, like the mines menu, and then we'll finally get on to mine stuff. Click. Item click actions is null. Okay, so it does have the ID, example item, that's correct, but the item click actions is null. And that means that it didn't load click actions. So item, click actions. So obviously that means it didn't load them. So let's say ID and click type. Okay. Okay, right. So ID is probably not. Let's see what the ID is. ID. So when they load, it'll print out. We'll just see. We'll see. It's obviously not loading them correctly, so this is what we need to fix. Right. Should have actually already printed out. Somewhere. Oh, there we go. Filler dot example item dot. Yeah, so okay. So we need contents dot before that. Right, and it does it a lot for each click action. So maybe we can go back here. We could say options contains contents dot plus was it ID or just key actually plus actions dot plus it does not contain it, and then we'll just continue there. Key should be contents dot, yeah, it should be contents dot and then the item name already, and then dot actions dot and then the click type dot get key. So that means the ID, we actually need to pass in key plus actions dot plus, no, just that. So we'll go back here and we'll say we'll refactor this to just key, and then should be contents dot the item ID dot actions dot and the click type. So we already have the click type, so it's just key plus click type dot get key because it already adds the dot. So we can actually just say plus actions right there. Alright. That should do it, I believe. Okay. Okay. So that should be good. That should work, hopefully. Example, click. Nope, didn't work. Of course. So it loops through the click actions. Means we made it down to here. So it means that there are no click actions in there. That means it's again didn't add it to the item. Let's go ahead and print out the key again. Astra log and click actions key, and then full key plus click type get key. Oops. Okay. So again, stop you, just build to Contents again actually should be up here somewhere. Contents.example item.actions dot. Yeah. Contents. The example dash item. Dot actions dot left. Contents example item actions left. So what does that mean? You know what it could be? Because we are saying this. So we get the list, which is fine. But then we're saying add click actions full list. And we're saying if well, no. This is not null. This is so it turns not null. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so say Astra log reactions at that key are empty. Right, key plus key plus the key. So should be getting it. And we'll say down here full command line string action ID. Okay, sorry about that again. Okay, we'll see. Kind of did this in a kind of messy fashion, but I don't know. All this is full key. So it's not empty, otherwise it would have said this. Right? Then add click actions. No, that's not it. They're in this one. So the input was empty. It was an empty list, it looks like. Wait, no. What? If it was an empty list, this wouldn't have been called, and this would have been called right here. So there's no way it's an empty list. So it must have returned in here. API is null. Action manager is null. I don't know. Maybe I think the API might just be null. If so, I think we'd have to instead load all of our menus in the on enable instead of the on load. Go up. Action manager is null. Okay. So that's what it is. Somehow it's null. So yeah, AstraPrison is not loaded yet. That's why. Okay. Means you have to do it. It means you have to load this. I think it's probably just because of that. To be honest, because you're trying to load all that before the action manager is set. So you still put it in the on load. Essentially, we were just trying, like just then, we were trying to do that. Full command line. Yep. No match found. Okay, well then, okay. Really? You're gonna throw a massive error for that when you literally said it would just return null? Why are you throwing an error when it said it would just return null? That doesn't make any sense, man. Why would you? Why? You don't need to throw an error for that. Just return null and call it a day. Some APIs are libraries, man. Okay. Master.group. Throws no match has yet been attempted or the capturing group. Okay. Annoying. If matcher dot find okay, alright, okay. Let me say public abstract get default action. And we'll say this. So matcher.find No, don't build. You don't need to build. Goodness. Alright. Okay, so somehow it didn't find... Okay, no, it did message. Good. And it added the command lines. So, hopefully it should work this time. Yeah, there we go. Oh, but it didn't. Okay. I forgot to replace this first part with nothing. Because of course. We'll say string replace remove action ID from string. So then we'll say let's add this method to here. Not null string remove action ID from string. Full command line. So we'll say equals get action from string full command line. So full command line starts with, so if it does not start with that, then we will return full command line, and we'll just do that before that. Full command line starts with plus action get ID plus, and we'll return, you know what, we'll just say turn full command line replace first plus action get ID with nothing. There we go. Actually, this might not be a good idea because the action ID could be different. Could be lowercase, could be non-lowercase, right? Well, actually, we could just say substring. So let's actually put that back, yeah. And then we'll say substring. Then we'll say action get ID dot length plus 2 for the for each bracket, and then a third for the space after the bracket. Yeah. Actually, we'll just do 2, right? Command line equals that, and then we'll say if command line starts with this, then command line equals command line substring 1, and then we'll just return command line. There we go. So this says return set command line equal to the full command line after this amount of characters, right? And that includes just the brackets and the ID of the action. And then if it starts with a space, then we remove the space. Okay, so here we go. And that means we need to go back down to wherever this is being used here. This is the input. Where do you have the action ID? So here is where we need to remove the action ID. So we say string equals action manager, remove it from the string. And we could also actually make another method for if we already know the action ID. No, string full command line. That way we don't have to use the regex pattern to do that. And we can actually make this static, right? Substring. Why don't we grab the code that we just did here, right? So it doesn't start with that, and then we return it. Ring substring action ID length plus 2 if command line starts with empty space, command line equals substring 1, return command line. There we go. There we go. Now we don't need to put it in here. We could just say action manager, and then we say action ID string. There we go. Now shouldn't have that, the action ID in front of the string that we pass in. Let me actually open that back up. So I want to get rid of all the logging. There we go. Okay. Don't believe there's any more logging. Right. Oh, there's tons right here. Yep, there you go. Okay, let's go ahead and build that. Stop the server. Oop, and paste. Hello, player name. Great, although oh. Yeah. Now if I was to, nope. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Now if I was to do that, there we go. This is my username. There we go, perfect. Now let's test out, say, right message, right click. And we'll say left click, drop drop, control drop, control drop, shift left click. I'll just remove click. And since we're only doing one line, I could just put them all in line. So I'm only having the one action for it. There we go. Shift left, shift right. Shift right. We had number key, right? What else did we have? Any click type? We had left, shift left, shift right, double click. So we can say double click. Is it double click? Yeah. Let me just remove that. Double. And then we're gonna have to rebuild this since I just changed that. Window left and window right doesn't actually make sense to have now that I think about it, because you wouldn't be clicking on an item. So I'm gonna remove those as well. Drop. We need offhand. There we go. And now we can stop the server again. Rebuild this. Then we need to test any as well. Say any. But let's actually. Nope. Come on. Quit it. What is happening? Jesus. There. Okay. That's saved. We would just built this. Yep. Set in there. Run. Okay. Okay. Left, right, drop, control drop, shift left, shift right, number key, or no matter which number key I press, offhand, I think that's it. Oh, double. Yep, double. Double works, it's just you'll have 2 left clicks if you have left clicks. And then any. Let's go ahead and make these. So any Astra reload. Nope. Does any not work? Oh, I guess not, because we have left. So we need to make any different. I think it already stores it under any. The problem is the click, the menu listener doesn't have that. So we have these here. Right, that's fine. But then we also need to run this for menu type dot any. It's like that. To run that as well. So obviously if the actions for this click type are null, it's not going to run them. So there we go. Let's try that. There's a flashbang there. On my phone, my stream is a bit behind me, so I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but it's fine either way. Any, right? Any number of keys offhand. Yep, there we go. And we can obviously put this back in. Reload. Left. Double. Number click. Drop. Offhand. There you go. Obviously, when you're configuring, you probably don't want to use any with a bunch of different specific ones. You probably don't want, I mean, you can obviously have this do something specific for no matter which click action. But you might not want to have double and left do like the same thing. Okay, so here we go. These are all of our click actions. They all work. Let's go ahead and say, let's do something cool here. Let's show off a good example menu, right? Let's say, let's title it fill region. And we'll say stone. We'll have just stone or green, white. Click to fill with stone. And we'll have this, and we'll say player fill region stone. It's like that. And we'll have this. Let's rename this to stone. We'll go ahead and copy this. We'll say end stone. I believe that's how that works. End stone. Let me just confirm. Yep, cool. Alright, and then stone and stone. So 22, we want to say 0, 1, okay, and then copy this again. 2. Instead of end stone, we'll say obsidian. 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 And then we can also make this just like that. Since we only have one line. Just condense it a bit. And then obsidian. There we go. 0, 1, 2. Alright, now we can go ahead and reload. Open this up. Oh, stone. Only showed up stone. Interesting. Well, there we go. It fills stone. Why does this not work? Should be looping through everything. Slots 0, slots 1, slots 2. What if I comment out the filler? Okay, there we go. I guess the filler for some reason was taking it up. Endstone. Yeah. Obsidian. There we go. We have all of that. To fix our filler, we can simply say from 3 to 44 instead. There we go. Stone, endstone, obsidian. This is just proof that that you can run a command from the player. So whoever clicks it will run the fill region command, and since I already have my corners set, it'll work just fine. I will welcome in Ronald Lewis. What's going on? just working on my prison core right now, doing menus. Just finished click actions for my menu, so I can click on a different item in here and it'll do different things, such as changing the block in my mine here. Yeah, and then another example, we can say, you can also have, if I can type, message, you filled your region with stone, like that, and then we can say console, say player name filled their region with stone, like that. Okay, so now when I reload, do that, click this, there we go. So first it sends me the message filled the region with stone, does the player message, and then does the console version. Cool, that's awesome. An ARG, huh? Are you like, it's an ARG, huh? Augmented reality game or something else? I might be thinking of it wrong. Or no, ARG also could be like, I don't know, like a hunt or something. I don't know. Okay, so we have our actions done to click on things in the menu. You can have as many actions as you want. So we can even say another, we can even add another message here if we wanted to. Cool. It's neat. What's it about? Your ARG. So yeah, we can have any amount of actions for our any click type that we can use, basically. So that's neat there. So that's just this is just an example of click actions. Next, we need to do click requirements. So basically say you don't want them to be able to run all these left click actions unless they meet a certain requirement. In which case I'd format it like this, right? Left, and then permission, fill region or something like that, right? So then that means they won't be able to run any of these actions if they don't meet this requirement. Although I think I formatted it separately previously. I think I did like permission, right? And then I did type permission and then permission region, right? And then we have another one or something underneath it that would be like this permission and the next permission underneath it, or the next requirement. Or we had I gotta think of a way to configure it so that we can have and or actions or requirements. So you say like this permission or this permission or this permission and this permission, basically, is what I want to do. I see. So I'm confused then. So it's not augmented reality, it's alternate reality, you said. So it's like one of those hunts, or like you know, find like a scavenger hunt or like an internet hunt or something like that. I don't know. So it's something like that if you're saying that it wouldn't be an ARG if you revealed that. I see. Yeah, yeah. That's what I thought. I just wasn't sure exactly when you first said it, if you meant like augmented reality game or one of those hunts that they do. That's cool though. I don't know if you're like a Minecraft player or you work on any plugins or anything like that, but what I'm making is a plugin for servers. Completely server-side mods, basically, that players don't have to download. And I'm utilizing fake blocks, so all these blocks right here are fake. The server doesn't recognize them. The server just thinks that it's air. If I was to disable my flight, if I didn't have my flight enabled and I'm standing right here, I'd get kicked for flying because the server doesn't realize that I'm standing on anything. So yeah, we have our nice. That's awesome. Well, yeah, so we have our fake blocks set up. We made some progress on our menus today. We need to do quite a bit still. We need to do click requirements and then pagination for specific GUIs, not just any GUI, because if we were to make in our menus here, if we were to make just any menu in here paginated, then we'd have to do a lot more work for that. Yeah. So the pagination is just going to be for specific menus, like when you go to create a mine and fill it with blocks or whatever, or your private mines menu. No, that might not be paginated. We get the gist. Any menu that needs a page or something. Maybe we'll have a menu where players can select what type of block they want in their mine, and then they can... That'll be a paginated menu of just different blocks. So that's probably what I'll do. I don't know. We have that to do for our menus, and then we need to actually work on the mine system, to actually have and save mines and all that. Because right now you just select 2 corners and fill it in manually. Okay. So how do we want to do this? That's the question. Maybe like this. Not too sure how I want to do this. So we have it from the config, and then so they can set it from the config however they want with the contents. I mean, so far that's basically what it is, but this fill region command that I made to fill in the region with the corners I selected, this command here is going to be removed at some point. Just using it for testing, and then later on you'll use this mine 1 to select 2 corners to set up a mine. And then the blocks will be filled in by whatever later. If you've ever played on a prison server, that's basically what I'm making. I'm making a prison core, but with fake blocks. Right, so we have this here, which will load everything from the config. And then to paginate, we need the size of the menu, which we'll have since it's right here. We'll make it like that, so we can access this from here. Okay. And then we need paginated items, right? Yeah, there are some prison cores out there that definitely make use of world edit, I'm sure. But I don't actually hook into world edit at all. I just have my own system for that. It's all down here in my NMS stuff here. So a fake block handler, which you can fill regions and set blocks in with. And then we have my packets here to interact with the fake blocks and all that. If you're ever curious about all that, I have plenty of past live streams of me working on this plugin from the beginning. Right, I think I want to do T, so it's gonna be a generic class. Can't make it final. Yeah. Okay, I haven't done pagination in a long time. I think the last time I did it was, I don't even know. So we have a list of T or whatever, you know, items, or, you know, what do I want to call it, paginated things, whatever. Yeah. Not a constructor. We need populate. Right. So we'll say, I know we need like some math here, right? Final and needed amount. So we have the amount of paginated items, and then we have the size of the inventory here. Then we do a little bit of math to go over that and determine where from this list we're starting at. But it has been 3 hours now since I started streaming. It's 8:30 p.m. So I think I'm gonna stop the stream here. I mean, we've done quite a bit. Yeah, we started an API for our actions, so that people can hook into the API and make their own click actions, and requirements eventually when I get around to that. And we've hooked up the actions to work with our configurable items here. And then we made them actually work when you click on them. So yeah, I mean, Doesn't sound like a lot when you think about it, but we also had to change some stuff around. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. Thank you to everybody who tuned in. Ronald, you can join my Discord if you haven't already. I post, I ping whenever I go live, so in case you're interested in future streams, you know. But yeah, I'll be back working on this another time or playing a game or something, so we'll see. But yeah, see you later. See you next time.